Hey, thanks for joining me on the Mod Golf YouTube channel. So today, my guest is Billy Brown, who is a two-time award-winning author. He also is a very successful real estate agent, entrepreneur, and the reason we're having him on the Mod Golf YouTube channel today for a chat is he is the CEO and founder of the Golf Sanctuary in Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm not going to tell you what the Golf Sanctuary is and what they do and why they do it. I'm going to bring Billy on right now, and he's going to tell us. I believe he's coming live from the Golf Sanctuary, so you get a chance to even see it. There it is in the background, or at least one of the bays here. So, hey, Billy, thanks for joining me today again on the Mod Golf Podcast.
Colin, great to be with you all the way from Nashville, and glad to have this conversation.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, hey, like I said, why don't you let our viewers know here, even though we talked about it at length on the podcast, on our long form audio podcast, which I do encourage our viewers to become listeners. I'll include the link down below for the podcast episode. But hey, Billy, take it away. Tell us what's going on, what you've created with the Golf Sanctuary and the experience that you have there.
Yeah, thanks, Colin. The first thing to know is it's not about golf. You know, if you see all I see is golf here, you completely missed it. So what we did was we created a community for business leaders and their family around a game we mostly love, and mostly is in quotes because sometimes you love golf, sometimes you don't. But what it is about community. So what do you need for community? You need something that has a conversation around it. Like, so golf is that conversation, that community aspect of it. We all love it, but we don't have time for it. So virtual golf, specifically TrackMan, allows you to go play more golf in less time. But what else do you need for community? You need great food and great drinks, right? And a place to go do it. And what we've created here is we have an award-winning executive chef, Joey Ray, that makes incredible food. I wish you could get a smell-o-vision in here. And that combined with just our team and who we have creates this memorable experience. We're not going to get necessarily at a retail type establishment like a bar or whatever. This is really about an indoor private country club experience. And it's just instead of having one golf course, we have 174. And if we get a little time at the end, I'll tell you the real reason why I created this. But right now, just think about this as everything you want in a private club, except you don't have to worry about agronomy or time or weather or commutes or whatever. You can all do it right here in one place.
Love it. Love it. So we talked about on the podcast that as you developed this pre-COVID, I wanted to get into this a little bit. So you decided then, I guess, November of 2019, you said that's when you had your aha moment, and you kind of described that journey in the podcast. I'm not going to go back there because I want people to listen to that story. But all of a sudden, a couple months later, this little thing called COVID in March of 2020 hits. Why did you decide to push forward when it seemed like when everybody else was retreating, circling the wagons, cutting costs, delaying things and waiting? Why did you go the opposite direction of most people and decide this was the fertile time to innovate and make stuff happen? So talk about that.
Well, you're getting a little from the back, Colin. I'm going to go deep here for you guys because this is, again, the whole time about golf. My dad owned a tire warehouse entrepreneur himself for many years. And 1986, 1987, he bought out his dad and his brother. And for those that are not Americans, you knew what happened in 1986. New tax act happened and interest rates went up. And that bank loan that was affordable immediately was not affordable anymore. And all of a sudden that cut off his inventory, which cut off the cash flow. We went from millionaires to broke. And he hung on for a while there. And he got me through college, played golf at Tulsa, Oklahoma State in Tulsa. And about 96 or something like that, he couldn't hang on. So he lost the business. That stress and disappointment of having a business for 50 some years, 40 some years, all while they never took a vacation, worked 80 hours a week, never took a vacation. Still didn't take a vacation because now he's broke in the late 90s. 2013, got married. He had cancer, stage 4 colon cancer. And the only trips he took were to MD Anderson.
Mm.
He spent his entire life working so he then could do something, and that then never happened. So that thought and that knowledge of seeing him work his life away, combined with what happened with COVID, gave me no choice but to say, and I apologize for the language here, fuck it, let's do it. I was really, and even back it up in March 2020, so before that, I mean, it wasn't a thing in Nashville. But in early March 2020, I had a lunch and learn schedule, had 25, 30 people coming to go, hey, we got this idea. I think it's going to come out of the ground. The timing's really good. Brought in all my friends. 2 days before, driving home, got T-boned, hit my daughter's side, 5-year-old daughter, well, at the time, 4-year-old daughter hit her side, totaled the car, scared the crap out of me. The next day, a tornado went through East Nashville, killed 22 people. So I had no car. We had a major catastrophe in Nashville, and I was supposed to have this lunch and learn, and I almost canceled it. But 6 people showed up. 2 weeks later, a week later, the power went out of our house, lost all our food and a few other things. 2 weeks after that, COVID shut down everything. I lost probably $250,000 in real estate deals, loans I was doing. I'm not an agent. I'm actually a lender. And at that point, you had to look at yourself in the mirror and go, is this a sign? And at that point, I had nothing, absolutely nothing. And you go, I got this great idea, but what the hell do I do? Like, is this a sign I shouldn't be doing it? Like, you gave me this great idea. What the hell? And that's when I just said, fuck it, let's do it. If I'm going down, I'm going down swinging. And we just kept on pressing forward. And thank God we did. Because it's been a hard path. But I mean, like your planes don't take off and downwind, they take off inland. Same thing here. Like the stronger the wind, stronger the head currents, the more lift you get. And that's what I knew. And pardon the French, but I was turning the shit into fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was doing. So for about 30 seconds, I was thinking about not pursuing it, but then I decided to keep going. So yeah.
Wow. Well, you certainly did not share that insight earlier. You got real there, and I appreciate you feeling comfortable and sharing that with us, because that's being vulnerable there and letting us know what motivated you. And you only go around once, as my Australian business partner says, we're all dead for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And that's, again, the whole idea of the golf sanctuary is like, if you see things about golf, it's not about it. And we talk about this on the podcast. It's about kindness and about pouring into others and giving them a sanctuary so they can recharge, rest, do the things that they need to go do to be the best people they go be, so they can go impact the world and for good. And that's really what it's about. I mean, it's not about golf. Golf's just the common language. Golf's just our addiction. Golf's just a game. But in life, it's a game. It's good. It's meant to be played. Life's not a profession. It's game.
Yeah, it really is. And you seeing the value of and importance of relationships. As human beings, we are hardwired to connect. Of course, COVID's been hard on all of us. We had to do it virtually for a long period of time, and had to relearn a lot of habits and natures that just came natural to us. So have you found now, coming out the other side of COVID, not that we're completely done with this thing yet, unfortunately, but this pent up demand now for connectivity in real life and shared experiences? Sounds like what you're finding with your membership model, you are packed there. You talked about supply and demand, and the demand is much greater than the supply for what you have to offer is a premium, awesome experience.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the future. It sounds like you're not standing still, saying, you know what, we built one of these. It's my passion project. That's good enough. That's all I want, is this place where I can just kind of hang out and be the center of attention. If that's what you want, and I think you're more than that. You're way more than that. So it sounds like there's plans to scale. And now that you've established this as more than your proof of concept and your minimum viable product, you've you've proven the model out now, and now you're looking, as we say, first you nail it, then you scale it. Sounds like you've scaled it, or sorry, got that wrong. Sounds like you've nailed it, and
We
now you're
nailed
going
it.
to scale it. So tell us about the plans for 2022 and beyond for the golf sanctuary.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got a high end private indoor country club here with the world class executive chef, great community, a lot of events. I mean, we're doing stuff that's, and we know this because we're, the PJ Tour rep for TrackMan is our neighborhood, and his wife works for us, and we ask him, "Hey, how's anyone else done this before?" They go, "They haven't." We're innovating. Like no one's ever done an indoor private indoor member guest. We pulled that off in April after we opened 3 months. Flighted, winners come out, play in a shootout in front of everybody indoors, and it was awesome. It was all, and we did that in 3 months, and that's because we're golfers. And we're people that know how to go use golf for business, but to be able to take that to a whole other level, that connectivity. You talk about the connectivity of things. My vision is to have the world's largest private country club. So whether in Vancouver, whether in LA, London, or whatever, you're part of the golf sanctuary. It's very exclusive. There's not McDonald's where it's like one at every corner. It's one in every city. If you're part of that thing, it's special. And it's special because the people that are there, and it's the staff that's there, and it's why it's innovative. And there's limited availability. So when you walk in those doors, they know Colin, they know Billy, they know everything about you. But also, I can go play virtually simultaneously with you right now, all from the comfort of Nashville, all from the comfort of your home. And that competitiveness, that common language connects us and allows us to have that conversation where if I met you in the street, I don't know you love golf.
Mm-hmm.
But now they know love golf and like, hey, what's your favorite golf course? Hey, you played here. Hey, oh my gosh. And then now these experiences start coming out. And now we're friends. We started as strangers. Strangers now are friends because of the game. And we can do that. Like anytime you played golf with somebody you never met before, all of a sudden, most of the time, you actually become friends afterwards. But if you're virtual, you can't do that unless you have that connectivity. Now you can.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's our vision, is to go grow this thing. So we'll open up our second location here pretty soon. We'll probably open up 3 to 4 more that are store owned before we franchise. And it's going to be, like I said, a global private golf community. And it's going to be catering to different affluent class. We're going to have access to private jets, access to luxury vacation rentals. Obviously, we're in Nashville, so we have a little bit of music, a little bit of entertainment connection here, just a bit.
Okay.
So those type of special experiences you're going to get nowhere else will be part of the community. So that's our vision. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, what I love, what's really in my mind revealing itself here is you are creating the luxury brand of golf entertainment experiences. And this is nothing against, it's not a hit against Top Golf or X Golf or some of the other ones that are out there, but they're really appealing to everybody, just the walk-ins, even the quality of the food and the price point and what they're doing. You're taking that model of, whether it's using the example of products, of creating a luxury brand and luxury products that you want to sell very expensive things with good margins to only a few people, rather than selling very inexpensive things to millions of people in order to make a business work. And it sounds like you discovered that very early on with a membership model, and you're staying in your lane and you're going to scale that. It's amazing.
Well, you think about like who our clientele is and what they expect. They don't want the masses. They don't want to be. It's not called a riffraff, but they want to be around like-minded people that can afford that luxury of having the availability of a club like this. And that's what we're creating for them, and they'll pay for that. And that's part of that is now you get the network of those people, and now you want to go do life and community with those people. So how do you go create those other experiences, whether it's trips to Napa, because Joey's spent 10 years in Napa and doing that type of experience, to the wine tastings, tequila tastings, to go to other golf outings and exclusive places because our members are members at the Discovery Land courses. That's what we're going to be focusing on, is that the stuff that you can't go. Yeah, you can maybe pay for, but you'll pay for it, but you don't have access to it. And it's just giving us people that access and availability of experiences they never had before.
Yeah, I love this. So for your second and your third location, are you pre-selling memberships right now? Are those sold out, or people that are watching right now are thinking, hey, I want one of these memberships to the Golf Sanctuary? So tell us about that. How do you establish your price point for your memberships? So run through that without people looking at your website, which we'll talk about at the end of the video here, so people can look at that. But talk about that as far as your price point and your onboarding for memberships.
Yeah, so it's we have a website you just go to, fill out a contact form, and we encourage people to have a tour, use the price points. We usually have a conversation first, like, why are you interested in this? To make sure it is a right fit for you, also part of the culture, because it just takes one bad apple, to do it. And there's a lot of salaries we know that aren't allowed in here because they've treated our staff poorly at other locations they've been at, and we have a list. Like, it's a small town, guys. If you treat people bad, you're not allowed here. We know about it. So we don't have a waiting list yet. We're actually still one of the few clubs in Nashville actually is open for memberships for now. By the time this thing airs, who knows? But we got about 90 memberships left, and then we'll add a wait list to that before we open our second location. Second location may take about a year to get opened, but the members of this location are going to be reciprocating members to all our locations. So if you have one membership, you got them all.
Well, that answer my next question. I was wondering if you were going to embrace this timeshare model that a lot of resorts have, that then you have access to every resort around the world with that membership. So 5-10 years from now, when you've got 50 locations opened up across the country, and maybe even some up in Canada here, maybe in Vancouver, in my backyard here, you never know that if I was a member here in Vancouver, when I'm traveling to Nashville, I would be able to, if there was space that night, I can drop in and my membership would be good there.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is we're accommodating. We're a Yes Club, so we have an app, and if you know you're going to be in a place, and there's no necessarily drop-ins, you want to make sure you're known ahead of time, because it's kind of popular. So it's meant to be like, we want it packed but not crowded. We want it full but not crowded. So you just got to let them know ahead of time you're coming in, and obviously for us, you come in and eat and drink anytime as a member, but the suite's got to be booked if you actually want to play and practice and bring guests, families in, all that. But no, it's the idea is to have a global private club. So no matter where you travel, and this is like where the Nashvillians travel, that's where we're going to put places, and vice versa. To have that special place going, oh, we should go out to dinner. We're going to go. Oh, you know what? There's a golf sanctuary here. We're going to go there instead of a high-end steakhouse. Like, we're going to go to a special place that very few people can get into.
Yeah, love this. Well, creating shared experiences that are active rather than passive, right? And you can make it as competitive as you want it to be. Okay, my last question for you here, more of an entrepreneurial one.
Yeah.
And I can tell, well, what you were talking about earlier, you have no problem being vulnerable and sharing a little bit here. And I asked you the question on the audio podcast, what aspect of the 10,000 square foot golf sanctuary surprised you that became more popular than you had envisioned? So I'm going to flip it around this time. What in your original assumptions that you were making when you were designing it and then building it, perhaps didn't work out as well as you thought, or perhaps didn't resonate as well as you thought, that when you build the second one, part of that design feedback loop of build, measure, and learn, what elements in venue number 2 are you going to enhance, or are you going to add?
Well, that's an interesting question. I can't really tell you the answer to that one, because that's what's going to come out of number 2 is what we learned, which is really cool. And it's so simple. I don't want to say it because someone may steal it. So just hold on to that one. You got to find out.
Fair enough.
So I will tell you the one part of the place that people have not used, I thought, as much as they would. We actually have a really cool members lounge with a card table and a little workspace and all that. I thought people would actually do more community in there and hang out. What they're done is actually more in the community room. People are striving and craving community, so they're out here and interacting more. So there's actually less room in there, which is good because it allows me to go work sometimes. But the feedback loop there of what is people wanted is been more community, and we have given them this. And this is why, like, our club, our model is going to work better than others is because of that community aspect of it. You can't go create these events at a bar. You can't do the wine tastings and the liquor tastings and the food tastings and the member guests and the hackers happy hour and the women's events and all that, at a bar, because that's not where you want to go create community. You want to create community at a club.
Right.
So all those things are designed for that community. That's the aspect of it that we're going to probably pour into a little bit more is that aspect of it. So,
Love it.
and I will say the next one, hopefully in Nashville, rooftop bar. That's what I want to say. That's personal. So I want a rooftop bar.
Here we go. Well, as we talked about earlier, the magic combination for me, and it sounds like you've unlocked the code on this, cracked the code also, is anytime you can combine golf, food, drinks, opportunity to tell stories and engage and create memories, got a winning combination. It sounds like you've certainly set the template for that. So I'm excited to see where you're going to go in the future with this, Billy. It's awesome, and I cannot wait to get down and experience the Golf Sanctuary in Greater Nashville, Tennessee myself. Hopefully that happens sooner rather than later if I happen to be in the area. Yeah, hopefully you'll let me in even though I'm not a member.
And just let me know ahead of time. Consider yourself invited, and yeah, it's all I'll tell you is it's better. It's better than you imagine. It's everyone walks in, and I tell people it's a vision. We said this on the long form podcast. Like when you walked in, I wanted to make sure it's it was a big hug from an old friend. And I tell people like the guests the first time they see it, if they're a prospective member, I want them to walk in, the double doors, look up, reach for their wallet, and just toss us the wallet and just walk. It's like, just tell me where to go. And like, I'm home, because I don't care what it costs. I'm home. So that's what we created.
Love it. And just to finish up here, you've wrapped your head around this, that the price now doesn't matter. It's not about price. It's about the value of the experience that you are creating and your patrons are creating for themselves and their friends also. It's the fact you've managed to differentiate yourself, that it's about value. It's not about price. Good.
It's not about price. It's and again, it's not about the value. If you're we tell everyone, like, if you're looking at that value, you're trying to calculate that ROI in your head, we're not your clientele.
Yeah.
If you see, and again, where we're at, who we're catering to, it's that precious time. Like when you put it to, you get to spend an hour with your family somehow, usually in front of a device. What's that hour worth to you if you're spending in front of the game, playing together?
Mm-hmm.
How important is that? Or a key client? That's not the value add. That's opportunity, and those are priceless. So when people see that, we communicate that, and they get that, it doesn't matter what the cost is. And even though we're very low on our price point, they get it and like, okay, now I see what you're doing. That's that hour, 2 hours of my time with my family that I would rarely get, where we actually can be together. And the screen, there's a TV there, but you actually can play together. It's priceless. You can't. Those are precious moments.
Love it. Love it. So Billy Brown, CEO and founder of the Golf Sanctuary, thank you for joining me on the Mod Golf YouTube channel here. As we finish up here, why don't you mention to our viewers where they can learn more about the Golf Sanctuary?
Yeah, very easily, thegolfsanctuary.com.
Boom. There we go. Also down below, I'll include that link, and also to your social. I know you've got a lot of people posting their amazing experiences on Instagram, and you're very active on LinkedIn, so I'll make sure I include all those too. So again, Billy, hey, great to see you. Love what you're doing, and thanks for joining me on the Mod Golf podcast.
Thanks, Colin. Appreciate it.